Minari, News of the World, and The Little Things. One of these I disagree with the general consensus. I'm a little behind on my review, so today I'm going to just go through these three films that have little in common other than the fact they've received some attention this award season, some less than others. Now, to skip ahead to a certain review, see the timestamp in the description. Remember to subscribe for more reviews and also follow me on Twitter, link in the description. So let's get started. First, I want to take a look at Minari. The movie follows a Korean-American family who moved to an Arkansas farm in search of their American dream. The family home changes completely with the arrival of their sly, foul-mouthed, but incredibly loving grandmother. Amidst the instability and challenges of this new life in the rugged Ozarks, Minari shows the undeniable resilience of family in what really makes a home. Let's talk about what works, which in this case is pretty much the whole movie. The performances are excellent, especially Young Yu Young as the grandmother and Alan S. Kim as the little boy whom you've seen in much of the movie's marketing. About halfway through the film, you'd be tempted to think Minari is taking a sitcom-level approach to these characters. You have the dad, Jacob, who is a big dreamer but can't seem to do much right, or things don't seem to go well for him. The mom, Monica, who's holding the family together. The cute kid, David, who says funny things. The older sibling, who watches out for said kid. And the mother-in-law, who moves in with the family and offers her own brand of irreverent humor. Heck, you even have Will Patton as a neighbor-like figure who helps the family, offers some laughs. But Minari takes these characters and places them in an uphill struggle for stability and safety. It's as if every day brings a new challenge to the point you almost get angry at the movie for how it's beating down on this family. In the middle of all this, Minari also touches on religion. The family decides to attend a small church where we see ushers taking up a collection, the pastor preaching about the rapture, things not normally shown in church scenes in secular movies these days. The mother even places $100 in the collection plate, almost as if to bribe or pay God to have mercy on her family as they're enduring all these hardships. Going back to Will Patton's character, named Paul, he has his own take on religion, where he speaks in tongues. He literally carries a huge wooden cross each Sunday, and he tries to exorcise demons. Now, I don't practice those things, but I understand that many people do, especially speaking in tongues. So it bothered me that when Paul first speaks in tongues, it's almost as if the movie is making fun of him for it. Almost, not quite. It shows Jacob and David staring at him in comedic disbelief. It's almost as if they're making fun of him. And for a movie that illustrates the importance of understanding and embracing ideas and other cultures, I felt that was a little, should I say, hypocritical? But as Minari progresses, we learn more about Paul and this family's love and respect for him and his love for them. A college course could be taught on the themes and subtext in Minari. For instance, you have the little boy, David, who doesn't understand why his grandmother doesn't act like a grandma in the traditional American sense. The film also studies roles within the family. The parents, Jacob and Monica, get jobs separating chickens by gender. Female chickens are favored, while male chicks get destroyed. When Jacob tries to explain to his son why that is and why the male chicks are destroyed, because they aren't as profitable, he adds that he and his son better make themselves useful, which becomes easier said than done as Jacob struggles with building and maintaining his farm. As for any negatives about Minari, I got nothing. None come to mind. I'm sure there's something if I wanted to nitpick, but this is just a really good film. It's hard to say which I prefer more, this or Nomadland, but in my perfect world, these would be the two films vying for Best Picture at the Oscars. If you're wondering, Minari is named after a plant grown most prolifically in the southern provinces of South Korea. It's adaptable to many climates due to its short growing season, and that serves as a metaphor for this family. This, again, is one of those rare films where I cannot think of a single flaw without nitpicking. I give Minari 4 out of 4 stars. Next on the list is The Little Things. Now, I don't want to dwell too much on this film. It's been out for over a month, and plenty of other critics have given their take. I feel like you already know if you want to see it, and if you do, then you have. But I have to say, I disagree with the general consensus about The Little Things. As of this review, the movie has a critic score of 47% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 65% audience score. I'm leaning more toward the audience score. In The Little Things, Deputy Sheriff Joe Deacon, played by Denzel Washington, joins forces with Sergeant Jim Baxter, played by Rami Malek, in a search for a serial killer who is terrorizing Los Angeles. They especially become suspicious of a shady repairman, played by Jared Leto, And as they track the culprit, Baxter is unaware that the investigation is dredging up echoes of Deke's past, uncovering disturbing secrets that could threaten more than this case. So what works? The big thing in this case things are the performances. I've read some critiques about Washington's performance, how he seems to be phoning it in, but no, he's playing a tired, grizzled officer, and he plays it well. When he's talking to a cadaver or confronting Leto's character, Washington unleashes the acting prowess that audiences love. Leto is likewise exceptional in a performance that recently earned him a Golden Globe nomination. He makes it difficult to tell if he's innocent or guilty. You get the feeling he's up to no good. He knows that the characters are on his trail, and he uses that to his advantage. He likes to toy with them. Is he guilty? Is he not guilty of what they're accusing him of? I'll leave that up to the movie. I don't want to spoil it. But you get the feeling that he likes the attention, and he plays with it. He toys with them as they're on his trail. This fuels our lead's descent into near madness. As for Rami Malek, his performance is the one I'm on the fence about. Malek is a talented performer, no doubt, but I didn't buy him as a hotshot, smooth sergeant. At first, it's almost like trying to buy Michael Cera as a serious mob boss. Okay, maybe it's not that bad, but still. As Malek's character grows more obsessed with finding the killer and thus starts slipping slightly into madness, Malek's character, his performance grew on me. Still, I think there might have been a better casting choice for that role. Director John Lee Hancock delivers workmanlike quality here. He's one of those directors studios can count on to deliver upper grade, if not quite award-worthy features. His credits include The Rookie, Saving Mr. Banks, The Blind Side, and of course, The Founder. His movies always seem to be compared or contrasted with better films. For instance, people say The Founder is no Social Network, and now that The Little Things is no Seven. But it says a lot that Hancock's movies even get compared and contrasted to those masterpieces in the first place. Sure, The Little Things is no Seven, but why does it have to be? That doesn't make the movie bad. Absolutely, Seven is better. But The Little Things is good. It's solid. Hancock here reteams with director of photography John Schwartzman, who delivers enough striking shots to fill the trailer, though I might have liked the movie to have a little more grit and grime in its cinematography. Some have said that Thomas Newman's score here is a little too peppy and whimsical, but I liked it. It reminded me of a tangled web being weaved as details are discovered and interconnected. As for what didn't work, no spoilers, but I feel like the movie builds up to a letdown. What happens among the three leads is interesting, but there's a scene in a field which doesn't help the Seven comparisons, and I kept waiting for something to happen. That something being closure. And the actors, particularly Leto, make the ending more palatable, because otherwise I think I would have really been disappointed. I'm okay with an ambiguous ending. I'm fine with the resolution having one or two loose threads, but here you just wonder how much was really solved and if anything you just watched mattered. Granted, that might help you get into the mindset of the characters, but it doesn't necessarily make for a good movie. The Little Things is a nice throwback to the 90s when movies of its kind were released regularly. However, if it had been released back then, it probably would have been viewed as a minor effort or a lesser effort, a mild but solid diversion. If you enjoy crime procedurals, you might like this one, or you might feel you've seen it all before. As someone who does not watch many crime procedurals, however, I thought The Little Things did a lot of things well. Lastly, I want to talk briefly about News of the World. Again, this has been out for quite a while, so you likely already know your interest level. 5 years after the end of the Civil War, Captain Jefferson Kyle Kidd, played effortlessly by Tom Hanks, crosses paths with a 10-year-old girl played by Helena Zengel. Forced to return to her aunt and uncle, Kidd agrees to escort the child across the harsh and unforgiving plains of Texas. However, the long journey soon turns into a fight for survival as the traveling companions encounter danger at every turn. News of the World reteams Hanks with his Captain Phillips director Paul Greengrass, and yes, News of the World does feature a reference to that earlier film where Hanks gets to say, "I'm the captain, I'm the captain." So what works? Well, Hank's interactions with Zengel are nice, with him acting as guardian, teacher, and father figure. Darius Wolski's cinematography beautifully conveys the Western Plains, and James Newton Howard, one of our most underrated composers if you ask me, not that anyone did, but delivers a score that hits all the right notes. There's a thrilling shoot-'em-out scene in which Hanks and Zengel take on a group of backward ruffians on a mountainside, and while exciting, you can guess how the scene will end, given It comes in the middle of the story in the fact that, again, the protagonists are Hanks and a little girl. You have a feeling they will be okay. But the best scenes in News of the World might be the ones in which Hanks's character acts as a type of news anchor going town to town with his newspapers and reading the titular News of the World to crowds. Those scenes are fantastic. In those scenes, Hanks stands in front of a crowd, and as he reads headlines favoring liberal news, the liberals cheer and the conservatives boo. As he reads headlines with the good news for conservatives, the liberals boo and the conservatives cheer. And these scenes have the excitement and atmosphere of a sporting event almost. I kind of wish the entire movie had been about Hanks acting as a traveling news anchor. And that might be what doesn't work about News of the World. You almost wonder if the movie is a victim of expectations. When I heard Hanks and Greengrass were teaming for a movie with this subject matter and setting titled News of the World, I expected a hot take on today's 24/7 news. My expectations obviously don't make a movie good or bad, but it says a lot when you have a Western and the most exciting scenes are of Hanks reading a newspaper. Those scenes are so good, though, that they make the rest of the movie feel minor. Still, even if it isn't a towering achievement, News of the World is fine afternoon entertainment. It's the kind of film where your dad might say, you know, I saw a pretty good movie on TNT the other day. It was called World News or something News. It had Tom Hanks in it, which is fine. A lot of movies have become well-known favorites that way. I just wish News of the World had been more newsworthy. I give it 2.5 out of 4 stars. So those were my thoughts on Minari, The Little Things, and News of the World. Overall, a decent set of films. If you enjoyed this video, click that like button and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Until next time, this has been Josh with Movies Please. Thanks for watching.